welcome. Glad you are with us. This is now August 26, 2024. August 26, 2024, the Worldview Financial Report. Joining me tonight are the Bad News Bears. What are we going to talk about? How about this? Stock market today. Dow closes at record high, while S&P and 500, NASDAQ slide as tech lags. We'll get into this one here. We'll get rid of that advertisement. There we go. U.S. rate cuts near economic soft landing. Odds could dictate stock performance. We also have a video we'll play for you. Well, we'll go to this one for now. 94 U.S. banks at serious risk of bank runs, including BNY, State Street, JP Morgan Chase, and Citi. What else we got? Oil prices jump on reports of Libyan production shut down. Red Lobster closing 23 more restaurants across the U.S. amid bankruptcy. And we've got this one here. Top 10 countries by gold reserves in 2024. And I guess that does it. All right, there we go. Joining me now is Michael Weiner, joining me is Michael Weiner and Wes Petes. Hi, guys.
Good evening, Brannon.
You guys have a good weekend? Did a good weekend? You go golfing, Michael?
Yeah, I did. And guess who came along?
You're kidding.
You're
Look,
right.
it's so nice. The audience is so happy that you two boys went golfing and you invited him. You're playing nice. You're being the big brother, Michael. Good for you.
There you go.
What's that, Wes? Don't mumble. You have something to say? Speak up.
I said, how about that? No, it's a good time.
I thought you said, I doubt that.
No.
You just changed what you said. I heard what you said the first time.
No.
So how did you do? How do you do, Michael? How do you do golfing?
We finished.
Okay.
We finished.
Yeah.
We had fun. We had a good time.
Can you put me in the monitor right here so I can see these guys without looking to the side?
Wes has some great shots.
Oh, that's good.
I'm an athlete. What can I say?
And you guys are turned over a new leaf. You're complimenting each other. Wow, it's really something.
Well, some things never change. We're going to be going into a putting contest with you in the Ozarks at that miniature golf spot there.
Yeah, there is a miniature golf course right there up the hill from our main building.
We're doing very well this, Brannon. It's Monday. We have our, Michael and I have our joint counseling together on Monday mornings.
Oh, so this is why everything's
fresh off our counseling.
You're fresh off your counseling. That explains why everything's going so swimmingly today. All right, excellent. So gold, do we have the banner up there for what gold prices are right now? He'll put it up. All right. Logan's not in there tonight. It's Reagan is the one that's in there tonight. All right.
25.17.
25.17, and I saw that silver's at almost $30 an ounce.
29.93. Yeah, actually, silver's 25.17.70. So almost 25.18.
What is
gold?
Okay, and silver's at almost $30.
Correct.
Okay, look at this. Stock market today. Dow closes at record high while S&P 500 NASDAQ slide as tech lags. What's going on there, Wes?
Well, yes, Dow closed at 41,240.52. And the S&P was off a little bit, just down 0.3%. The NASDAQ was down 0.8%. And right now, we were talking in the past about the Magnificent Seven stocks, the big 7 tech stocks were carrying the market for such a long time. And that's not the case right now. Actually, Nvidia reports this week, and depending on how their earnings are and their forward-looking forecast, that could have an impact on the market later this week as well. Let's see what else was in there as far as that goes. Nvidia mentioned that. The Fed has 3 more meetings between now and the end of the year. Everybody's betting on the Fed to lower rates at each one of those meetings. So we're patiently waiting for that to happen. But yeah, there's a video clip there too. I put in a video clip that talks a little bit about it as well.
All right. Which one is that, Michael or Wes?
Right there, the first that headline that's Dow closed at record high.
Is it? That's it? That's it? All right. That means we're going to sit through a stupid commercial because I didn't see that was a video at first. So, yeah. Now, but first we have to wait for their pathetic player. They don't have the nice player we have. Their players like to spin. I don't know how these companies can't find nice players.
I should start trying to find these videos from these articles like on YouTube or something.
Somewhere, but the company, you think these companies could afford decent players, but apparently they can't. All right, let's go. Let's try this. Let's see if this is it right here, boys.
Like the
Here we go.
130. Start the 130. It's longer than that.
Oh, you want me to start the 130 mark
No, start the beginning.
and go to
and
130?
Yeah,
Right.
or you could go a little longer if you know,
Right.
if you don't get bored.
All right, here we go.
It was a record day on Wall Street here with more on the trading day takeaways as Yahoo Finance's very own.
I just want to
Josh-
stop right
Josh-
there. See how cruddy that player was? As soon as we put it big, it went black. It spun. We had to refresh the page. Folks, you're not getting that when you go to Worldview Tube, okay? Apparently, these big companies don't have the budget to have decent players. You go to Worldview Tube, you do not get that. Just so you know, that's frustrating, and I don't want to see that on my page. I don't see that ever happening on my page. My IT guy would be chewed out for what I pay him if that happened. But apparently, these other companies don't care if they frustrate their folks. But notice the quality between our page when you play videos and these cheap players they have on these cruddy pages. Here we go.
Yeah, Josh, so we got the Dow closing at a record, and I'm going to keep this one simple for us. I just want to take a look at inside the Dow and sort of what's been working there, right? So you can see today, one of your leaders was Coke. You had American Express as well, but then let's take a look. I'm going to go equal weight. I'm going to expand this out a little bit to the month. You've had some pretty big movers in August in the Dow. Nike was a stock that had been beaten down pretty good. McDonald's, Walmart. And I think what I sort of get here when I look at a Home Depot, Coke, Walmart, McDonald's, Nike. Again, we've been talking a lot about the market becoming a little bit more comfortable with the consumer story over the last month. And I think the Dow is sort of telling us that story as well right now. The other interesting point to make about the Dow, and we're going to get to this with point 2, when you look across the board here, it's not overly indexed to tech like the S&P 500. So today you had a day, right, where the S&P 500 did not perform particularly well. This is our takeaway 2, tech. It's because tech didn't do well. But when tech doesn't do well, it can drag on the S&P 500, but it doesn't necessarily drag on the Dow in the same way. Inside tech, if we look inside the NASDAQ 100, one of those big underperformers, Josh, you're taking a look at it right there, Nvidia, right? So bad day for Nvidia, meant a bad day for the market today. Interesting to think about moving forward with earnings on Wednesday. Does a bad day for Nvidia mean a bad day for the market post earnings?
Yeah, which so it should, meaning the earnings is not just important for Jensen Huang's company, but much more broadly the market, the index, just a kind of a signal of risk on appetite.
Yeah, I'm going to put.
All right, so that's good enough. All right, Michael, you want to comment?
Well, we're looking at a marketplace which is a typical marketplace for Monday morning. Everything is great. Now, I would venture to say that those same guys who look like everything is great are going to be the same guys who aren't going to know what to say when everything isn't great. And the thing with Nvidia is Nvidia had gone up so ridiculously high. What's gone on with them is using that as a prelude for whatever problems are. There's no problem there. It's just the stock was run up, and now it's having a little bit of a drawback. I'm not a stock player. I don't own Nvidia. I have no desire to own Nvidia. But some people do because there's just a greed factor. I think that the information that they were going over was boilerplate. It was exactly the same thing I heard on CNBC this morning, early at 5 a.m. It's almost like they take the script and run that same information over later. So right now, until the election's over, don't expect anything except rose petals. I mean, they are, we're getting lied to, we're getting manipulated, and we're getting no information, and people don't understand it. But keep in mind, America out there, when you're buying these stocks, that if you vote for, this woman, if you're not supposed to call her a woman, whatever they want to call her, at the end of the day, you're going to pay 44% long-term gain. So I guess the question is, why make money?
Oh. All right, here's the next one. As U.S. rate cuts near, economic soft landing odds could dictate stock performance. Wes?
On this one, again, everybody's waiting on the Fed to start cutting rates. That's what they're waiting on. And September, it's going to be either 0.25% or 0.5%. And like Michael said, there's no real rhyme or reason. The fundamentals to the market nowadays. The market looks for any reason to get behind the market and push it higher, to drive it higher. So they've already priced in the rate cut. However, as soon as they announce the rate cut, the market's probably going to go crazy again because it actually happened. So, again, there's no fundamentals in this market, and people need to be proactive and look for alternatives to the traditional system and get some of your money outside of the system. And that's exactly what, physical gold and silver can do for you. So.
All right, let's go to this clip right here. Got some audio? Here we go, boys. Watch this. I have no idea what this is. I'll be seeing it the first time just like you are. Here we go.
Most economists are currently projecting a soft landing. What is that? And has it ever happened before? Soft landing is the Fed's ability to raise rates to bring down inflation without causing a recession. Has it happened before? Yes, once. This line shows you the federal funds rate. And as it goes up, that's the Fed raising interest rates. And as you'll see, every time it goes up, it's accompanied by a gray shaded area in the background. That's a recession. The exception to that, amongst the last 12 rate hike cycles, is right here in 1995 when they performed the soft landing. And these articles from 1999, prior to the dot-com blow-up, and 2007, prior to the great financial crisis, show you that was always a soft landing, until it wasn't. Is there a difference between the economic backdrop in 1995, when the soft landing happened, and today? Yes, even through the rate hike cycle of the 1990s, the unemployment rate consistently drifted downwards. The unemployment rate today isn't going in the right direction. Is it possible for the Fed to pull off the soft landing most economists are projecting? Absolutely. But more importantly, am I confidently investing my portfolio in the Fed's ability to do so? No! 11 out of the past 12 times a soft landing was happening, a recession ensued. Diversify your stock portfolio that's incredibly exposed to an economic recession, because it's always a soft landing until it's not.
All right. Take that, Wes.
That's Taylor Sons. He's a certified financial planner. He has an MBA in finance, and I came across that. And from that first article, I wanted to segue into that video. And it's exactly what Michael said. Everything's okay until it's not. And, I'm not betting that the Fed and our government, with all their bogus, incorrect numbers, are going to be able to pull this off. And everything's going to seem fine in the market, and all their talking heads are going to get on their daily shows and talk about how great things are until it's not. And then they'll act like they're blindsided and look around the room, and they'll have their 6-panel, people sitting there talking about what went wrong when they just ignored all the warning signs as to what's really going on. This isn't a true economy. We've talked in the past about the Fed injecting money, quantitative easing, creating money, injecting it for the benefit of the government to make things look better than they are. So the day of reckoning is coming, and I think it's, again, sooner rather than later.
Wow. Let's go to you, Michael. What are your thoughts?
Well, I said I think it was on Friday when Genius had a lot to say, Mr. Powell, who is a total politician. I don't buy into any of his mathematical garbage. I said at that time, when he turned around and described inflation problems that are going on right now as a byproduct of the pandemic, taking away any blame from this administration, that was absolutely ridiculous. And I know a lot of people on television who are on some of the good networks agreed with me. All he did at that time was try to give a pass to Biden and Kamala Harris, trying to say that they didn't do anything wrong. Well, Jerome, my dear friend, inflation's when you start printing too much money. And guess what they did? They printed a fortune of money. And what they spent it on is still to be determined. And what they wasted it on, we live with every day when we go to the grocery store and overpay. And the soft landing garbage will be good until it's not. And when it really won't be good is when the election's over. And if, in fact, Dracula and Dracula's wife win the election, they're going to suck the blood out of all of us except for the elite, the Politburo, as it might be, and they will exist, and the rest of us will start feeling pains that we have never felt before. And they'll continue to lower interest rates, and they will continue to think that by doing that and giving everybody $25,000 to get a house, who will go buy them, and then 12 months, 13, 14 months later, maybe a year and a half, we'll see the foreclosures start kicking in, because even with 25,000, these people don't have the income to afford it. Right now, where they were able to buy houses before Biden under Trump with 54,000 combined income, it's now 110. Good luck with all that. This is not what is real. It is being really sold and tied in politically, and it's sad. It's quite sad, really.
Yeah. All right, let's look at this one. Speaking of that, 94 U.S. banks at serious risk of bank runs, including BNY, State Street, JP Morgan Chase, and Citi. Wes, we've been talking about this. We've been talking about the fact that over the next few years, we were being told 500 banks were going to end up collapsing. Now we got 94 right here that are at serious risk. You know, tonight on Brannon Howse Live, I'll be talking to several people, including Leo Holman. There are the World Economic Forum, as I reported, I think last week or maybe the week before, on the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, who's talked about a poly crisis and a cyber attack that he started promoting, 3 years ago or more, that would make COVID look like a walk in the park. They're back to it, saying big crises are coming. There's more and more talk of black swan events coming. There's talk now that some folks inside the government, some folks are saying they have talked to people inside state and federal government, and they're preparing for black swan events starting after Labor Day. I have an article here, by the way, that I just found. Look at this. Sun News. This is the U.S. Sun. Apocalyptic luxury, underground glitz. The guy says, I build world's most luxurious World War III bunker with go-kart tracks and jet skis. There's something super rich always want. The ultra-rich are building apocalypse-proof bunkers with White House-style medical suites, go-kart tracks, and mammoth movie theaters. So we've been hearing about this from guys that are in the business of building bunkers. This has been going on for a while. World War III does seem to be getting closer and closer with each passing week. NATO, which is America, of course, and other nations, Great Britain, are striking deeper and deeper now into Russia, into Moscow. It does seem to be heating up. So add banking collapses or bank runs to the equation, I think it's going to be multiple events at one time. I think that, I'm not being dogmatic, but I'm going to say that would be a real probability. It becomes like a dominoes falling, right?
Absolutely. You look at what's going on geopolitically around the world, what's going on financially. You look at the national debt that we're carrying, the long-term liabilities that we have, how cyber attacks have stepped up significantly. It's the perfect storm. So yeah, I mean, if I could afford one of those underground bunkers, that would definitely be sign me up, because again, we need to do whatever we can to be prepared and not rely on the federal government for a dang thing, because they're the ones that are going to cause these problems, or already have caused.
Well, Michael, problems. I think they're the uniparty is freaking out right now. The uniparty is freaking out over what is becoming the unity party, and that is you got RFK Jr. Friday, today Tulsi Gabbard. All of these Democrats are now flipping to Donald Trump to form what is trending on social media as a unity party. Do we disagree with Tulsi Gabbard on some big issues? Yeah. RFK Jr.? Yeah. But they're saying, look, we don't want communism. We don't want to go to World War III. We want freedom of speech. It's amazing how this has woken people up. But yet I'm reading tonight that there is, let me see if I can find the article here real quick, Reagan. I'm reading tonight that let's see, the Bush, here we go. Hundreds of Bush, McCain, Romney alums endorse Harris for president, criticize Trump. The uniparty, yeah, the Bushies and the McCains and the Romneys, they're freaking out. And they're going for Kamala. What does this tell you? Oh, my. So one would have to wonder, what are they planning for, some kind of black swan events to maybe even disrupt the election?
My position is that, first of all, I don't believe there'll be World War III if Kamala and Doughboy gets elected. I call him Doughboy. He looks like Pillsbury Doughboy, and he runs around like an idiot on stage. He was really a buffoon, but at the end of the day, and a communist socialist. But more importantly, they'll capitulate. They won't ever go to war. They'll just surrender. I do not believe that they will go ever to war. I think they will surrender. They'll surrender the sanctity of this country, and they'll give away whatever we got, including our money, to stop it.
Now,
so don't count on anything from them. As far as the Bushes, who've been a piece of crap all the way back to the 1940s when the old man was with the OSS, may he rest in peace, but at the end of the day, in all due respect, that family is garbage. They've been involved. That's why he picked Dick Cheney. You want to talk Mr. Deep State and his daughter, Brunhilde? I mean, between the two of those people, what a joke. This guy got a new heart when other people were waiting in line because he's who he is. These people will not disappear. We have to make them disappear. They are terrible individuals. George W. Bush was a horrible president, horrible. He was more of a Democrat than a Republican. He created 2008 and handed the sticks right over to Obama. I literally...
He is the one that shoved us up underneath the Financial Stability Board and a bunch of other European institutions. I wrote about it in my book, Grave Influence, in 2009. George W. is the one that gave us the Patriot Act, where they could have any of us arrested tonight as, quote, terrorists, which they've already been labeling us as that to use George W.'s legislation to arrest us all. We do have breaking news. We have a letter that has just been released by Meta, formerly Facebook, August 26, 2024. This is a letter to Congressman Jim Jordan, chairman of the Committee on the Judiciary, and it is from Mark Zuckerberg. Cruising it real quick. He apparently is apologizing and regrets working with the Biden-Harris administration to censor Americans. Does this man smell lawsuits? Does he smell government? I don't see the federal government doing anything. They never do anything. Is he scared about Donald Trump coming back?
I think he's scared about Donald Trump, and I think he's scared about getting arrested in France, like the rest of these people. I think he's very scared. I think that these people have, and I don't think he's going to back off from manipulating. I think in your book you spelled it out great, Brannon, about the Bush family, but it also ties into John Kerry, the worst candidate that we sold out the government to when we could have taken over in 2012 was a guy named Romney. The worst candidate. We won all the House seats. We won the Senate. We won governorships. We lost the presidency because he's an idiot, sellout, rhino. And I tell him right to his face, I know him. I know him. I met him when I was a kid when my dad was friends with his father, who probably is rolling over in his grave. The guy is just a real piece of work. And these same people who are rhinos won't change. Nobody would be surprised if they line up behind Kamala Harris and the rest of them in their conga dance. But I don't think it'll make a heck of a lot of difference. They're a waste of time anyways. But just what you're saying about what's going on with Meta, I think he's afraid of what's going on in France and afraid of being somebody who doesn't back free speech and backs the other side of it. He's trying to have a double-sided coin, and it's not going to work.
Wes, go to this one. Oil prices jump on reports of Libyan production shutdown. Go, Wes.
Yes, obviously there's a lot going on in the Middle East, a big powder keg. If there's a full-blown conflict over there, we could look at oil prices going up significantly, the Straits of Hormuz being closed. So that's a big thing. One thing I want to say before we go, Brandon, I know we only have a couple minutes left, talking about previously a Harris administration and how we would be looked at and respected around the world. Today's the 3-year anniversary of 13 of our service members, most of them being Marines, being killed at the gate there in Afghanistan. A high school ROTC program could have done a better withdrawal from Afghanistan than what these clowns did. Today, President Trump was paying his respects to those that lost their lives. While I don't know where Kamala is, I don't know where Joe Biden's on another vacation. But not only that, you look at when the Democrats were in power. Remember a little thing called Benghazi?
Yep.
And and what a disaster that was.
Yeah, and the Republicans got to the bottom of that, didn't they? They held people accountable for that, didn't they? Oh, I'm sorry, they didn't, because most of the Republicans are on, I think, video doing things they shouldn't be doing, and they're leveraged.
Yeah. So
that's all. That's all, as Michael Weiner and Michael Savage say after their rants. That's all.
That's all. I'm done.
Here I go.
Yeah.
There I go.
So, yeah, the Middle East is a disaster, and we're not energy independent anymore. We still rely on these other countries for oil. Why in God's name that is, I have no idea. But that's just another thing that is on the forefront that could cause serious problems. Cause gas prices to go up, cause goods, which again, fuel prices go up. Food goes up at the grocery store, everything goes up across the board. And families are already struggling to make ends meet throughout the month. So not a good situation at all.
No, it's not a good situation at all. And if you want to know something, I'm reading reports that the credit rating of many Americans is dropping because they're making too many late payments. So people are seeing, and I'm getting reports from people, I've seen some of the reports of the numbers of Americans whose credit rating is dropping. Well, that tells you right there. They're not keeping up. They're not making payments on time. This is a real problem. Let me go to one more before we got 2 minutes left. Oh, man, I used to love going to Red Lobster. Their lobster, remember their, what were their rolls called? Were those like...
Those biscuits, cheddar biscuits.
Wow. Yeah. My wife makes something like that. She makes, about a year or so ago, she found something and makes them. They're better than what they made, but those were amazing. And they're, Red Lobster had great salad. Red Lobster had a lot going for it, but I haven't been to one in years and years, but apparently they're closing left and right. Here we go. Red Lobster closing 23 more restaurants across the U.S. amid bankruptcy. I remember back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, Red Lobster was considered a nice restaurant. You go to Red Lobster, you got a good meal. But man, how things have changed, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Costs of business and costs of doing business and minimum wage requirements in other states and all the insanity going on. It's ridiculous. It's really unfortunate, but it's the world that we live in now. But it's not going to get better unless we get Donald Trump in.
Look at this, by the way, the top 10 countries by gold reserves. Who are they? This is on, what magazine is this? I don't know what magazine that is, but there we go. Russia, China, Turkey, Poland, India, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Singapore, Iraq, and Thailand. Russia and China leading gold purchases. Wow, you mean so when they do their BRICS system, it'll be backed by a hard asset while we're backed by nothing.
All of our enemies.
Yeah. We supposedly have $579 billion in gold.
That'll go a long way.
Yeah, sure we do. Sure.
Get your free report. Free report, no obligation. Free report, 602. Put it up there, please. 602-558-8585. 602-558-8585. That's a financial report with the Bad News Bears. Thanks for watching. Take care.